Hey there. My name is Alyssa. I'm going to be leading you through about a 55-minute class today. So it's a hatha yoga with some work with a tensor ball as well, just to massage out certain areas. So things that you'll need before we get started. You can have a strap, or if you don't have a strap, you can use any belt that you have in your home. Some sort of ball. You can use a tennis ball. I just have like a tensor ball here. And a block or two blocks if you have available to you. If you don't have a block, it's okay as well. I'm just using a big book, a dictionary, actually, because I don't happen to have any blocks here at the moment. Another thing would be a bolster or a long pillow or a pillow that you can maybe fold in half. I'm just going to be using a blanket roll. Right, so we can get started whenever you're ready. You can find a comfortable seat. If you find that your pelvis is pushing back and away, it is good to have some kind of support underneath your sit bones. That could be a bolster, pillow, blanket, block, book, whatever you have available to you. Okay, so you can get comfortable. You can get out any twitches or adjustments, just settling in here. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just noticing your breath. You can place a hand over your belly or your chest. And just feel the flow of your breath in and out. You can also use this time just to check in with your body. Notice the areas that maybe feel more tense today, areas that are feeling tender, areas that might need a little bit of extra patience or attention today during your practice. I'm just going to stay here for a little bit longer. You can take a few deep breaths in through your nose and exhale through the mouth. Alright. So you can make your way down onto your back. We're going to start with the ball. So just massaging into the fascia. Okay, so if you have your ball handy, you can come down onto your back. And once you get there, you can press into your feet, and we'll just take the ball right onto the sacrum. So that triangular bone at the base, or in your lower back area. Okay, so you shouldn't be on the tailbone, should be above that. And you can just decide how much pressure you want here. If it feels like too much, just gently press into your feet. Okay, and if you need a little bit more, let your weight come down onto the ball. You can just bring your hips from side to side, just rolling the ball across the sacrum. Okay, and if you find a spot that feels tender or maybe could use a little bit of opening, you can hold there and breathe into that space. Deep breaths, take them all the way down into your pelvis. release that. So press into your feet and take the ball out from under the lower back. You can let your sacrum come down to the mat. Just take a couple breaths here. And you're going to use this ball now just to massage just inside the shoulder. So you can come up onto your forearms and just take your ball. So it should be above the ribs. It should be on the inside of the shoulder blade. Between the shoulder blade and between the spine. So in between those two areas. Okay. And once you find that spot, you can let your head come back and rest. If you have a block and you want to use it under the head, you can do that as well. And if you're feeling enough here, enough intensity, you can stay here and just breathe into the ball. Let your body soften if you can with each exhale. Okay, and then to intensify this even more, you can also extend your fingers and just draw half circles with the arm, pointing the fingertips up. You can bring your hand all the way down towards the mat, and then all the way up towards the head. A couple more breaths here. Alright, to release that side, you can just roll over to the left and release the ball. Oh, that wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. Alright, we'll come over to the other side. So whenever you're ready, just come up onto the forearms and you can bring the ball above the ribs to the inside of the shoulder. Okay, just inside of the shoulder, but not on the spine. So there's that space in between, and that's where we want it. Okay, and you can let your head come back. Let your shoulders soften towards the mat. Okay, if you'd like, you can extend your arm on the other side, just drawing those half circles slowly. Breathing into the shoulder, let it open up. Okay, a couple more breaths on this side. Alright, you can release. Okay, so from here, the next one we're going to do is a massage for the TFL. So so the IT band that runs on the outside of the knee, the TFL is just right on the top of that, right near the hip. So a way to find your TFL is you can extend your legs out, flex your feet, just place your hand on the side, find your hip bone here, and just place your hand here, just on the side. And you flex your foot, and then turn your toes inward. And there'll be like a bulge that comes out, a little muscle that sticks out, and it's right in that area. So it's kind of on the front. So like if you find your hip, and then it's just kind of over towards the front of your thigh. Right? So a couple options of how to do this, because the floor version can be intense. So to get into it on the floor, you would just roll, just kind of find that area, and just roll over on top, and then just adjust until you find it. You'll know when you find it. It can be a pretty intense one. So you can stay here, and you can just add a little bit of movement or just sink into the ball. Another option, if you find that that is too intense, you can come over to the wall. And same thing, just line yourself up on the wall. And you can just massage into it this way as well. This will be quite a bit gentler. Okay. Okay, so just staying here for a couple more breaths. Okay, we'll do that TFL massage on the other side. So choose if you want to lay on the ground or if you want to use a wall. Okay, just find that spot and just breathe into it. Use the breath to release. Tightness in the TFL can cause issues in the knee as well as the lower back. It is important to give them attention, especially if you do a lot of sitting or, I mean, like most of us, a lot of work facing forward, bending to standing, moving forward. This area can really tighten up. All right, you can release that side. Okay, we're gonna come back down onto our backs. So just have your strap handy for this one, and then also a book or a block, whatever you're using for your lower back. Okay. We'll come down again. This time, just lift the sacrum up with your feet, and just place the block right underneath the sacrum. Find a comfortable position here. Let your shoulders come down towards the mat. And just take a couple breaths here, just letting the sacrum sink into that support. Okay, we're going to extend the left leg up. So if you have your strap, you just hook your strap over top of the foot. Okay, and you might keep your right foot planted here. If you do have the space, you can definitely extend the right leg out and rest the heel. You can point your left toes towards your forehead. Breathing space into the hamstring. Letting the right leg become heavy, or the right foot if your knee is bent. Okay. Release that side. And we'll do that same thing on the other side, extending the right foot up. You can let your shoulders come down towards the mat. Let your hips ground down into that support. Extending through the back of the leg. You can press your heel up towards the ceiling to intensify that stretch in the hamstrings. Couple more breaths here. All right, release that side. Now you can bring the soles of the feet to the ground. We're just going to keep the block here. And And let your soles of your feet come together and let your knees come out to the side. And open up the inside of the thighs. Taking your breath all the way down to your feet. Let your jaw soften. And we'll come back up. So you can use the hands to help your knees together if you'd like. And just press into the mat and remove your block. Just take a moment here, let your lower back reconnect with the mat. Feel your breath. Alright, you can make your way up. Take your time. We'll come into a tabletop. Okay, so if you do have tender knees, you can fold up your mat this way just for extra support. You can also use, if you have a blanket handy, you can use a blanket as well. Just whatever works for you. Okay, spread your fingers, ground down through the palms, feel the mat under your palms. And we're just going to move through some cat-cows. So with our inhale, our sit bones are going to come up, our belly is going to come down, our chest is going to come up, our chin is going to come up. Then exhale, tuck the sit bones down, lift the lower back, lift the upper back, and drop the head. You can move with your own breath. Inhale, sit bones up, belly down, chin up. Exhale, sit bones down, spine up, head down. You can continue this movement for a few cycles of breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Just imagining that movement beginning at the tailbone and then articulating all the way up to the crown of the head. And just finishing one more cycle of breath here. And then come back to neutral. I'll just give the wrists a little bit of attention here. So you can take your right hand and turn your fingers to the outside of the mat and back towards your knees. Alternatively, if this is too intense for your wrist, you can also sit back onto your knees and you can just grab the palm and bring the fingers down. Okay. So whatever works for you today. And so taking the same hand, we'll do the opposite. So just bringing the top of the hand down to the mat and gently press the top of the hand into the mat, keeping your weight back towards the heels. Though we shouldn't be having our weight really coming down into the shoulders. Okay, so wherever you are, again, if you need to, you can sit back and you can do this the same way. Just use your opposite hand and just pull the fingers down towards the mat, pointing the top of the wrist out away from you. Okay, you can release that side. You can give it a little shake. You can roll out that wrist. And we'll do the same thing with the left hand. So turn the fingers back towards the knees. Just coming to your edge with this, you should be feeling a nice stretch in the inside of the wrist, into the forearm. Just breathe into that space. We'll take another deep breath. And you can switch sides. So just bringing the top of the hand down. Stretching the top of the wrist and the top of the forearm. Alright, come back to neutral. You can release that wrist, shake it out, roll it out. Okay, we'll extend our right leg out behind, tuck the toes. We're just going to pulse back and forth here, just opening up the ankle and the calf. Just gently pulse forward and back. Okay, you can do that on the other side. Stretching the foot. Alright, come back to neutral. We're going to transition into a low lunge here. So if you need a block, have 1 or 2 blocks handy just at the front of your mat. And we'll take the right foot and we're just going to step it to the outside of the hands. Okay? Okay, and then you can heel toe your foot in and bring your right hand to the outside. So if you're using your blocks here, just having them underneath the fingertips. And if you want to take this a little bit farther, you can bring your hands up to the top of the thigh. Grounding down through the front foot and the back shin. You can extend your arms up towards the sky and open up your chest if you like. Breathing into the front of your body. Alright, you can release your hands. We'll just take the sit bones back. Keep the toe pointed. Keep the right toe pointed here. Just stretching the front of the ankle. And you can point your toes up towards your forehead. Okay, and you can also use your blocks here. Just bring them back with you. Let your shoulders come away from the ears. Try to lengthen through the crown of your head. You can shift forward into a lunge. You can come into a twist here if you want to ground down through the left hand. And we'll inhale the right fingertips up. Open up the chest. If this is too much in the shoulder, you can always just rest your hand on your hip. So if your arm is up, you're extending through the fingertips, finding length across the chest. Alright, we can release. Okay, you can walk your right hand to the inside of your thigh and swing that leg back. And take some time just to bring some movement into the hips, just bringing them from side to side, or you can do some circling with the hips here. Okay, when you're ready, you can take your left foot and just step it to the outside of the hands. Use your block if you need it. Okay, you can heel toe that foot to the inside, planting the fingertips. Okay, you can take this up if you'd like, bringing the palms to the thighs or extending the arms up. You can scissor your thighs together here to find a stronger foundation if you're finding that it's hard to balance here. Let the shoulders come down, extend through the fingers. Okay, one more deep breath. Exhale to release the arms. And you can bring your hips back, pointing the left toes towards the ground. Breathing into the backs of the thigh. You can point your toes up towards your forehead. Lengthening through the spine. Taking your breath all through the back of the body. Alright, you can shift your weight forward. We'll release that leg. And again, just taking some movement. So I just realized that I forgot to do a twist on that side. So if you don't mind, or if you want to do this twist, you can bring your left foot forward again into lunge. And we'll try this again. You can plant your right hand and open up into that twist. Your gaze can go up towards the fingertips if that feels okay in your neck. Your gaze can go down towards the ground or neutral. Whatever works. Alright, we'll release that. Release that leg. And you can bring your sit bones back to your heels. We're going to come into a child's pose. Just letting your forehead relax into that support. Breathing deep into the back. I'm just going to offer a stretch for the shoulder here. So if you'd like, you can thread your right arm under your left underarm, just coming down onto the head and the shoulder. If this is too intense or this isn't accessible to you, another option would be just to walk your hands over to the left and just stretching into the right side of the body, into the shoulder this way. Filling up the ribs with breath. I'll just take a couple more breaths and then come back to center. And you can come over to the other side when you're ready, either threading the left arm underneath or walking the hands over to the right. Okay, take another breath there, and then make your way back to center, just resting here for a few moments. Alright, so you make your way back up to a tabletop. This time we're going to tuck our toes and find a down dog. Alright, so ground down through your fingers. You should press gently through all 10 fingers. And tuck your toes. Keep a bend in the knees and bring the sit bones up towards the ceiling. You can give your head a little nod, release your neck. You can pedal the heels. You can even bring this movement into the hips. Just shifting the hips from side to side. Okay, and you start to walk your feet up to your hands. Just bending into the knees. Let your torso relax and sink down towards the mat. You can grab opposite shoulders here. Alright. Okay, when you're ready to come up, just ground down through your feet and slowly start to roll up your spine. Let your head come up last. You can roll your shoulders back and open up your chest. Okay, you're going to come over to the wall. So if you want to bring yourself about a foot away from the wall, I'm going to come into a TFL stretch. If you're really flexible, it might be more like a foot and a half or a little bit farther away from the wall. But just start with your right hip facing the wall and bring the left foot behind. I'm just hooking it behind the ankle. And then from here, you can extend your left arm overhead, reaching towards the wall. Let your left hip come away from the wall until you're feeling a nice stretch in the side of the body, into the left hip. Keep your chest open. You can roll the left shoulder back here. Couple more breaths here. Alright, release that side. Okay, so you can release your leg, and while we're here, I'm just going to do a nice stretch for the chest. So you can take your right arm and just bring the forearm to the wall. So I'll just do this from down here so I don't have to move my camera. Okay, so you just place your forearm to the wall. So you'd be standing on your feet here. And then from here you can just step your right foot forward just so that you're coming to a place where you're feeling a stretch across the pec, across the chest. And just ground down through the forearm, breathing into the chest. Alright, we can release that side. We'll come back up. We'll just do that stretch on the other side. So just bringing your left hip towards the wall. I'm about a foot away. And I'll take the right foot and just hook it behind the left ankle. And then you can start to extend up and over through the right hand, reaching towards the wall. Let the right hips come out away from the wall. Alright, release that side. Again, we'll take the forearm to the wall. So I'll do it from my knees. Alright, so just bringing your elbow just straight out from the shoulder, so just like a 90-degree with the forearm here. And you can step your inside foot forward, just coming to your edge, coming to where you're feeling that stretch in the front of the shoulder, in the front of the chest. Just breathing into that. Alright, release that side. Give the shoulders some rolls. Okay, we're going to come back down to seated. Okay, and you can extend your right leg out in front. And just bring the left sole of the foot into the inside of the thigh. So your hips or your legs should be pointing in about a 90 degree, give or take. Okay, we're going to square our torso over the extended leg. Okay, take a deep breath here. And with your exhale, you can start to walk your hands forward. Just keeping length in the spine here. You shouldn't be folding forward. Your head should not be coming down. You're just extending through the chest. Okay, you can bring your left hand to the outside of the right thigh. That might be on your calf or it might be up on the thigh, whatever's accessible to you. Okay, and you can use your right hand for support here, or just putting it on the mat. Just working to open your chest out over to the right. You should feel a little bit of a stretch in the lower left back here, a little bit of a twist. Deep breaths into the belly, into the back. Alright, you can come back up to neutral. Just taking another deep breath here. You can take your right leg and just bring it across your body. So planting it on the other side. If your right hip is coming up and moving away here, you can also extend your left leg out and just plant your right foot here. Okay, we're going to come into a deeper twist here. So you can hug. You can use your left arm and you can hug your right knee in towards your chest. You can plant your right hand behind you, opening up your chest. If you have the space in your neck, your gaze can go out over the right shoulder. Taking some deep breaths into the belly. We're detoxing our digestive organs here, getting things moving. Now you can release that side. And you can use some windshield wipers if you'd like. Just release the legs, release the hips. Okay, we'll extend the left leg. We'll do that sequence on the other side. So just bring your right foot in. Okay, grounding down through the sit bones, extending through the crown of your head. You can start to bring your torso forward, just hinging at your hips. Your inhales can lengthen your spine. Exhale to soften into that fold. And you can take your right hand and bring it to the outside of the left thigh, just stretching into the right side of the body. You can gently pull on the left thigh, bringing your chest, pointing your chest across the left thigh. Few more deep breaths here. You can release that. And we'll take that leg across, crossing it over top of the right leg. Okay, moving into that twist. You can take the right arm, hug the left knee in, and open up your chest over to the left, planting the left hand for support if you'd like. One more deep breath. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. And you can gently release. And we'll come back to those windshield wipers. If you want, you can make them a little bit bigger. If you want to ground your hands, you can even roll from hip to hip. Just giving your hips, your piriformis, your glutes a little massage. We're going to come down onto our back. Alright, you can hug your knees in, rocking from side to side. You can grab a hold of your knees and draw circles in one direction, just around the lower back. You can draw circles in the other direction. Okay, we're going to make our way into a Shavasana here. So grab anything that you need to be comfortable. If you find it uncomfortable to lay flat for your lower back, a blanket or a bolster under the knees is really supportive. You might like a blanket under your head or a blanket over top of your body just to keep yourself warm and comfortable for this time that we're going to spend just relaxing and settling the body, integrating the work that we've done. So whenever you're ready, just get comfortable, get out any adjustments or twitches, and just let your body soften down onto the support beneath you. Release any control over your breath, allowing the muscles to rest. No more need to be doing or contracting the muscles in any way. Just taking this time for yourself. Just taking this time to rest, to fully rest your body. And then if you notice any thoughts that are coming up, just gently acknowledge them without judgment. And just bring your awareness back to your breath. Come back to the feeling in the body, the sensation of the inhale, the exhale.